Good evening and a warm welcome to this very special webinar series. Tonight we're speaking about engineering and what your questions are with regards to anything that you would like to know about next year, about the rest of the year. What is it that you can expect? What communication you can expect from the Faculty of Engineering, and so on and so forth. My name is August Engelbrecht, and I am in the Dean's Office of the Faculty. And I will answer most of your questions, but I have brought along some help. Let me just introduce them to you. Immediately to my left is Miguel. Miguel is, his surname is Martins, and Miguel is our director for the Winter Week, and he will be able to answer some questions on the Winter Week. Next to Miguel is our chair of our Engineering Student Council. But she's also a mechanical engineering senior student, and her name is Elizabeth Montgomery. Elizabeth will answer some of those questions, in particular related to leadership and so on and so forth. And then to my far left, not last but least, but it's Anton Sitole. Anton is a final year industrial engineering student. He'll talk about entrepreneurship and how can you start a business while you are a student. So, let us get started. I want to share a few common things with you, and some of you have heard this already, but let me just share, and you can follow my screen. The picture that you see on the screen at the moment is how the Faculty of Engineering will look like within a year. So when you join us next year, or even the year after next, this is how the Faculty of Engineering will look like. The faculty is currently in a renovation, in a refurbishment mode, and this is what we are doing. Have a look at this picture. We've got a renewal project that started off with mechanical engineering, and we went through the departments as it were. Last year we finished off electrical electronic engineering, and the rest of the renewal project is ongoing. So that is what you can look out for when you arrive at Stellenbosch. Why should you consider engineering? Some of you have already applied, and others might still do so within the next day or two, or the next week or so. These are some of the reasons why we want you to consider engineering at Stellenbosch University. We'll touch base on some of these. Very important graph or slide that I would like you to keep in mind: the admission and selection criteria. If you have already applied, this is how we will weigh your application. Whether you will get an offer or not, whether you will appear on the waiting list or not, will depend on this particular slide. What we're looking at is that we look at your grade 11 marks, your final grade 11 marks. If you've achieved an average of 75 to 80%, you can be assured that you will. There's an offer in the pipeline, especially if your mathematics mark is also 75 and above. If your physical science mark is above 65, you can expect some kind of an offer being on its way to you. So that is the important graph that we want to show you. So the yellowish part of the graph or the slide refers to the selection criteria that your offer will depend on. But in grade 12, you need to continue to work hard, but at least then you need to meet the minimum criteria, because you will get an offer based on the yellow part of the slide, but the maroon part of the slide will give you a final offer based on your grade 12 marks. So keep this in mind as we answer your questions this evening. This is an important code that I want you to take out your cell phones and scan this code. If you've missed the open day, if you've missed the virtual open day, if you need some information, basic information about the Faculty of Engineering, if you want to see the different videos on the different degree programs in engineering, please scan this code and meticulously watch each and every one of those videos. It will give you a lot of information, so much more than the four of us can share with you this evening. Here's another scan code. If you want to stay informed through our social media pages. If you want to know what's happening in the Faculty of Engineering, please stay informed. Be informed. And that is the scan code that you can use. So, we've received a number of questions from you. And so now we're going to deal with those questions. And my three colleagues, our student colleagues on this side, they will assist me with this. The first question is in Afrikaans, but I will, if you don't mind, I'll answer this in English too. My seun is huidiglik in matriek en stel belang om meganies en mechatronies volgende jaar te studeer, het klaar aansoek gedoen. Indien hy nie keuring kry vir volgende jaar nie, het hy oorweeg om by Stadio die Higher Certificate in Mechatronic Engineering te doen, wat 'n jaar kursus is om seker te maak hy doen iets. Sal dit erken word as in sy eerste jaar? Sal julle dit erken as sy eerste jaar en dat hy dan in 2027 kan aansoek doen by Stellenbosch vir tweede jaar en sy graad kry by Stellenbosch Universiteit? Die kort antwoord is, Stadio bied hierdie spesifieke kursus aan eers vanaf 2026. EXA, die Engineering Council of South Africa, moet eers Stadio se kwalifikasie akkrediteer, erken, akkrediteer, en dan kan ons beginne gesels of ons modules van daardie kursus of die hele kursus sal soort van erken indien die student by Stellenbosch sy studies wil voortsit. So when the student study at any University of Technology or any other university, if the program on that side is being fully accredited, we will consider whether that student can transfer some of those module credits to our particular course. It's not a done deal, it's an application process, and it will be considered. Okay. Then, this student, the second question is currently studying at CPUT or Cape Peninsula University of Technology, doing a final year diploma and wants to transfer to Stellenbosch University. Well, the same applies. Apply, we will consider if there's any module credits that we can transfer, that the student can transfer from the University of Technology and so on. But just by the way, it would be good if the student, if you, the student that have asked this question, can complete your diploma and then take on the BTech, which is the 4th year, and thereafter apply to transfer to Stellenbosch University. Nothing cast in stone. We will consider that application just like we consider all the other applications. Okay, here's a question on, is it necessary to write the NBTs? Well, let me just say from the start, students that have applied to study engineering, you don't need to write or to sit for the NBTs. That's one less exam that you need to worry about. So don't worry about NBTs. We don't require you to sit for NBTs. There's a question on can I switch modules seamlessly during the first year of engineering since we've got a common engineering program. We want you to start off with an engineering program, pass all your modules for that first year, and at the end of your first year, provided that you've passed all the modules, you will have the option to transfer to a different engineering degree program. If you fail 1 or 2 or 3, then the ball game changes automatically. Okay. Let me answer this one on when can you expect a response on your application for 2026. Well, we are currently in the process of evaluating applications. As you know, the application deadline is the end of July. And so thereafter, till the end of September, we will continue to evaluate applications as it comes in. And so from now on, in fact, since the beginning of May, we have made offers already to prospective students. So if you have already received an offer, well, you are one of the lucky ones. But those that haven't received an offer, don't worry. We're constantly making offers and we're constantly working through the applications as we speak. Okay, just a last one from my side. Are there any funding opportunities at the university? Yes, we've got funding opportunities. If you go to marties.com, there's an icon, bursaries and financial aid. Click on that one, then you will see external bursaries and even internal bursaries that we are aware of at the University of Stellenbosch. We always say to get a bursary for the first year is probably the most difficult part, because companies in general, they first want to see whether you cope with your first year. That jump from school to university, they want to see how do you transition that, and thereafter, if you perform academically, there will always be opportunities, bursary and financial opportunities for you. Okay. Last one from my side. How do I apply for accommodation? And this is crucial. If you go to marties.com, because this is where you can apply online, on the same application portal, you can apply for accommodation. And please, if you're not from around Stellenbosch, if you don't know anybody where you can stay around here in Stellenbosch, we really encourage you to apply for accommodation, university residence accommodation. There's also private residence accommodation that has been approved or accredited by Stellenbosch University. In fact, this year alone, there was more than 4,000 beds that were accredited by Stellenbosch University, and that list is also available if you go on to marties.com. Okay, that's enough from my side. Let me just ask the students to start helping me. We've got this particular one for Miguel. Miguel, this student wants to know, I'm looking forward to attend the engineering winter week in the June holidays. What is the program like? Can my friend still apply for the winter week? What do you say?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What is the program like? So it's a week-long packed program where you'll have the opportunity to attend some introductory lectures. You'll also have the opportunity to go on some of the department tours where you'll be able to see all the facilities that will be available to you as an engineering student. We also go out to some company visits, and there you'll be able to see what is expected of you as a graduate engineer. You'll be able to ask questions throughout the entire week, and that is the week. We also do a project for the students, and this allows them to kind of be involved with students that they aren't familiar with and can help them see some of the challenges that you might expect in your first year of engineering. To answer the second part, can my friend still apply for the winter week? Unfortunately, the winter week program is closed for applications. If you are currently in grade 10 or 11, we do invite you to apply next year. Yeah.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Elizabeth, here's a question for you. I am provisionally accepted for mechatronics, but I also think about mechanical. What is the difference between the two? You're a mechanical engineering student, so tell us.
Yes, congratulations firstly on your provisional acceptance. So for anyone who doesn't know, mechatronics is a bit of a hybrid between mechanical and E&E. And here at Stellenbosch University, we're definitely more focused on the mechanical side. So your first 2 years for mechanical and mechatronics are identical. And then from your third and fourth year, it starts to change up a bit. So there are about 6 modules from the mechanical side that are then replaced with E&E modules, so that you have a bit of understanding from both sides of it. So what I would highly recommend is going to the Stellenbosch University website and downloading the engineering yearbook. Then in there you will be able to find the course layout and more information on the modules to have a better understanding of what is expected within the 2 streams, and then be able to make a better, maybe informed decision on which stream you'd like to go into. You can also then decide after your second year, if you've been doing mechatronic the whole time and you find that you're maybe enjoying more of the mechanical modules that you're currently doing, you can then decide to switch over in the case that you've passed all your modules previously.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you, Elizabeth. Anton, here's a question for you. Now, we know you not only as an engineering student, but also as an entrepreneur. And this student wants to know, while at school, I've been known as an entrepreneur. Does the university support student entrepreneurship do you have some kind of startup incubator at the university?
Good question, thank you. Yes, there is a lot of support for student entrepreneurship. In fact, I would say almost just as much as the academic support. It's both internal and external. You can get support from businesses, from sponsors from the university. There are internal, how can I say, companies and programs that support students on learning about business, starting up their own business, scaling their business, networking, etc. To answer your second part of the question, yes, there are startup incubator programs within the university. Now and then, some of the faculties, some of the departments will bring in companies that are offering work opportunities. Those companies also do startup and business knowledge programs where it wouldn't necessarily be for your own startup, but you learn a lot about business, you learn a lot about startup growth, investment, etc. So yes, I would say there is support for student entrepreneurship.
Excellent. While we're with you, this student, the other student says, my parents are concerned how I will strike a balance between my studies and a possible business. Do you think it is possible?
It's a very good question. Yes, it is definitely possible to start a business while you are studying engineering specifically. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it is not. You really do have to have motivation for both academics and social and your business life. In terms of studies, your studies is going to take up a lot of your time, and this is where dedication and where your timekeeping skills, hopefully you've got that under control, where that will come in handy, because there will be times where you have studies, but you've also got the urge to really build your business, the urge to network. But there will need to be a trade-off. There will need to be a time for schoolwork. There will be a time for business. But it is 100% possible. I'm still here. I'm still studying, and I'm still running my business after 4 years now. So yes, good luck to you if you do continue that stream.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Anton. Elizabeth, here's something for you. Now, as the chair of our Engineering Student Council, this student wants to know, I've been involved in leadership roles in class at school since grade 9 and really appreciated being involved at that level. Do you have such opportunities for students in engineering?
We do, and it's always so good to hear that we have provisional students that are really interested in getting involved and eager to take part and be involved in leadership positions. So across the entire campus we have various opportunities available, but particularly to the engineering faculty, I would say in terms of leadership positions, a lot of them might only become available to you after your first year, or you might only be able to apply in your first year and act in that leadership position in your second year. But something that you can do within the first few weeks of being in class is be a class representative, where you will then be a liaison between the students and the lecturer. Then at the end of your first year, you can apply to be on the Engineering Student Council and get involved in that way, where you represent students of the faculty as a whole. You can also be involved in Winter Week and perhaps in Engineers Without Borders. We have lots of opportunities available. I think there was a question further about residence spaces as well, and campus as a whole. So in terms of residences, you can become a mentor, or you can apply to be on the house committee, which you would do as a senior, so second year and up. And then there are also multiple societies across campus. You can be on the SRC, the Student Representative Council, where you represent students across the campus, across faculties, to the university as a whole. So there are many opportunities available, and it is very important to just stay true to that desire and that inherent skill to just want to serve those around you.
Excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, Miguel, there's a question for you. I am involved in sport, culture, and I love having fun with my friends. Does the engineering degree allow space to strike a balance, to have fun?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. Quite a common question. I do get asked this a lot from students that join us at the Winter Week. There definitely is. It's different from person to person. You will have to kind of find this balance in your own way. The workload is quite tough, but it's something that you'll just have to figure out in your first year and go forward with that. I do know a lot of students that are part of the Marty's Rugby, the hockey. A lot of them are engineering students, some of them doing their postgrad, studying masters. So it's definitely possible. From personal experience, I did struggle in my first year to kind of strike that balance, but it fluctuates as you go. Sometimes you have the balance as the coursework maybe changes. You need to adjust it a little bit, but you will be able to find that balance.
Absolutely. And obviously we always want our students to know that your studies must be your first priority. And then if you study hard, you can have fun, hard as it were. Okay. Now, Miguel, while we're with you, and you're a civil engineering student, the student wants to know, any of you studying civil engineering? Of course, you study civil engineering. I've been provisionally accepted for civil at Stellies. I have also received an offer from a university up north. Why should I choose civil engineering at Stellenbosch University?
Congratulations for being provisionally accepted. So why did I choose civil? That is a bit of a difficult question. I can't say that I've always known that I was going to go into civil engineering. I've always had a passion for STEM. I really enjoyed my maths, physics. Probably the lot of you enjoy that as well. I've loved analytics and problem solving. And I do come from a family where a lot of my aunts and uncles are engineers, and majority of them are civil engineers. So they just kind of inspired me to look into that direction. And that is where I found myself, and I'm enjoying it so far, and it's been a great experience.
Excellent, excellent. Elizabeth, here's a question for you, and this is part of that important balance that we need to strike in our lives. I've been raised in a Christian home, so my faith is very important to me. Do you have such opportunities available to students to balance studies with their worship?
This is something I 100% relate with. When I found out I was accepted, or when I found out I was going to be studying at Stellenbosch, I immediately tried to find the local church that I could be part of, and I was fortunate enough that the church that I am in, which is CRC, has a branch in Stellenbosch. So I was able to immediately slot in and plant myself in that space, and I had my community on hand. But if you maybe come from a church that doesn't have branches in other cities in South Africa, or doesn't have other spaces, there is a chance during the welcoming week where we have the societies fair, and that's where a bunch of societies and communities from across the campus of Stellenbosch come and present stalls where they just share more information about their certain societies, and the churches are there every year. So you'll have a vast majority, or just a real display of the different church communities that we have on campus and in surrounding areas. There you can go and ask questions to the people and just find maybe the community where you would slot into. It's very important, I believe, that for me personally, I wouldn't have gotten through this degree without my community. So it is vital that you, when it is so important to you, that you are able to find your space. You might find yourself doing a bit of church hopping in the beginning, which is fine, and then you will find your community that resonates with you, that shares the doctrine that you are part of from your home space, and then you'll be able to plant yourself there and have a really good support community. It is ultimately up to you to do the balance and to set time aside to go to church, to do Bible study, to spend time in worship. But having that community is so important. So I would definitely say take the opportunities that you have, find the church and plant yourself in there.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, students, it's impossible to cover all your questions within 30 minutes. And of course, after this, we know that you will send us an email or we will receive your email addresses and your particular questions. If we haven't touched on that particular question, we will make time to answer the question for you in your email. So just to wrap things up, obviously we are now in the application phase, the application generation phase. we've asked you to apply from the 1st of April, anytime until the end of July. And so that phase is ongoing. In the meantime, offers are being made to students that are meeting the selection criteria that I showed you earlier on the slides. Towards the end of September, you need to make a final decision on the choice, on your preferred choice. You will have 3 choices that you've applied for. You will make a final decision by the end of September. And the faculty will then start communicating with you on a completely different level. And so we want you to seriously think about that final choice that you will make. If it's engineering, obviously we will be happy with that choice. All right. So what can you then expect after that? Well, then the faculty will start communicating with you. The university will start communicating with you regarding the welcoming program, because we want to make sure that you enjoy that welcoming program, to feel that you're part of this Marty world. You were Marty. And then we prepare you for the first day of class through that welcoming program. You will meet your lecturers, you will meet the deans, you will meet the student leadership, you will engage with your residents wherever you might stay. And so there's a lot happening in welcoming, and we really want you to grab that opportunity to come and join us at welcoming. So keep watching your emails. The email that you have applied with, keep on watching that email. That's the way that the university will communicate with you. So, in conclusion, if you haven't applied yet, go to martys.com, make those 3 choices and apply online. And then if you've already applied, please make sure that you check your emails regularly, and by the end of September, make that final choice. And study as hard as possible. Do your best in the June exams, do your best in the final exams, and then we will certainly look forward to welcoming you in 2026 as a first-year engineering student. Have a good evening. Goodbye.